In the fifth year of her engagement with Linza Echishia, she secretly held a wedding with a male college student. When I arrived, they were kissing passionately amid the noise of the crowd. When Linza Echishia saw me, she smiled with her red lips and said, "Hyan, do you want a wedding? Don't worry, we haven't got a marriage certificate yet." I said nothing and turned away calmly. She thought I was sulking until Miss Jinquan posted our marriage certificate. Linza Aichixia knocked on my door frantically despite the heavy rain. I opened the door with a vulgar smile on my face and said, "Don't worry, we haven't had a wedding yet." Shen Yan came down from upstairs wearing a black suspender, snuggled in my arms and said, coquettously, "Huh, so I have no status." At the lively wedding scene, the guests in the audience cheered for the newlyweds to kiss each other. The male college student in a suit had a youthful look in his eyes. Linzai Chisia put her arms around his neck and deepened the kiss little by little. I stared absently at the two people kissing passionately on the stage. Linzai Chixia's sister turned around and saw me and shouted in panic, "Brother-in-law, why are you here?" The next second, the originally lively atmosphere suddenly became quiet. I walked towards Linzai Chixia, and the groom looked at me at a loss. Linzai Chixia did not feel embarrassed at all, as if she was caught by her fiancé. She explained, "Shu Yan is making a fuss about marrying me. Don't worry, we haven't obtained a marriage certificate, and the position of husband will only be you." Linzai Chixia and I grew up together and got engaged after graduation under the arrangement of the parents of our two families. She is famous for her love of playing in the circle. It is said that she has ambiguous relationships with various men, which makes me lose face. I looked at her calmly and took out a square brocade box from my bag. This was the ring given by the Lin family when we got engaged. I'll give it back to you. Linjura Chixia took it, played with it in her hand, and smiled slightly mockingly. "This time, in order to make me break up, you have already started to play the trick of returning the ring." I didn't miss the deep disbelief in her eyes. "Linzai Chixia, from today on, our engagement is void, and we have nothing to do with each other in the future." Lindsay Chia's face changed on the spot. Gu Yansheng said it again. Seeing that things were about to get out of hand, her sister Lindsay Izu beside her quickly stood up and said, "Brother-in-law, calm down. This wedding doesn't count. Sister Zichi is just playing around, and the one who really gets married must be you." I said nothing and turned away calmly. She hurriedly persuaded Lin's Iachixia, "Sisters Iachixia, you should quickly chase your brother-in-law." Linza Iachixia said very confidently, "What's there to chase? This kind of thing has happened before. He will come back obediently in a few days. You didn't make such a big fuss before. Any man can't accept that the person he loves marries someone else. I advise you to go and have a look." Linzai and Chisia glanced at the direction of the door, and her beautiful eyebrows narrowed slightly. Zhu Yan suddenly tugged at her clothes. "Can I see the ring?" After leaving the wedding scene, I called my friend Gu Cheng and made an appointment to go to the bar for a drink. When he arrived, he saw two empty bottles of red wine, and he understood. "What happened? Did you quarrel with Lin Jai at Chisia again? Did she find a celebrity or a male college student this time?" When I heard this name, my heart ached like a needle. She got married today. After hearing the whole story, Gu Cheng picked up the wine bottle and was about to smash the scumbag to death. "You should have dumped her a long time ago. I created a group for you, which is full of the best men in our circle. You can take a look." I went to the bathroom, and a woman in the corridor was wearing a dark professional skirt that didn't fit in here. She leaned against the wall, holding a cigarette between her white fingertips, and looked a little difficult to mess with. Perhaps she noticed my gaze. She frowned and looked over. It was Su Wanhee. Why was she here? I walked over. "Ms. Su, can I borrow a cigarette?" She raised her eyebrows. "Didn't you stop smoking after you got together with Lindsay Ochisha? I'm afraid she'll know you smoke." I didn't say anything. She came over and said in a very teasing tone, "I heard that she had a grand wedding with another man today. Are you breaking up with her?" I took the cigarette and lighter she handed over, lit it skillfully, exhaled a puff of smoke, and said with a smile, "Su Wanhee, come to my house tonight." Our eyes met, and the words between adults were already very clear. Suwon, he pinched the cigarette and stubbed it out and chuckled. Suddenly, she remembered that she was not the kind of casual woman in the circle. Just as she was about to explain, she agreed to it unexpectedly. After I unlocked it with my fingerprint, I pushed her against the door the next second, clasped her head with my big hand, and kissed her. Next, what you have to do is to make me speechless. After a whole night of madness, my throat was a little hoarse. I personally let her know what it means to speak out of turn, and it didn't end till the morning. At this time, the phone rang. I leaned against the bed greedily, stretched out my hand, and groped on the bed. There was a laugh beside me. Shoot, when he found the phone. When she saw that it was the video played by Linja Achicia, her face immediately became ugly and she handed the phone to me. I pressed the answer button. Lindsay Achicia smiled inferently. Didn't you say yesterday that men and women's marriages have nothing to do with each other? How come you went to my dad to say bad things about Shuyan in less than a day? Who went to your dad? Are you crazy? Why are you crazy here so early in the morning? A hoarse voice caught her attention. Linz, I asked in confusion, do you have a cold? I smiled, guess? She realized the meaning of my words, suddenly raised her voice, and approached the phone. Where are you? Who are you with now? Lynn, we have no relationship anymore. It has nothing to do with you, where I am and who I am with. I really didn't want to talk to her, so I hung up the video. In the bar, Linja Archicio looked unhappy. Her sister asked, Sister, Mr. Gu hung up the phone on you? Is he really determined to cancel the engagement? The assistant retorted, How is that possible? This is an old trick to threaten sisters Iachixia. If he really wants to cancel the engagement, would he be willing to do so? It's obvious that he is acting. He pretends to be with another woman to make you jealous and to make you unable to resist going to find him first. This trick is so common. Why do we still need to use it? Everyone laughed, and Linja A. Chishia's face looked a little better. My good mood was ruined by this phone call. I frowned unhappily. Suwon, he saw it and asked, What's so good about Linza Achixia? She was so playful before marriage. After marriage, she can't just stay with you. She doesn't deserve you. I looked up and down. Suwon, he picked up the cigarette box on the bedside table, knocked out a cigarette and handed it to me. His expression suddenly became serious. When it comes to marriage, the Su family is no worse than the Lin family. What does Mr. Su, when he glanced at me, I know you have always wanted to win the East District Development Project. It is not easy to win it by yourself. If we get married and work together, it will be much easier. I was completely sober now and asked, According to Sue's ability, you can win it alone. Why do you want to share a piece with me? Maybe it's because you did a great job yesterday. She raised her eyes, which were full of teasing. I couldn't help but twitch the corners of my mouth. After thinking for a few seconds, I took the initiative to stretch out my right hand. Happy cooperation. 40 minutes later, Suwon Hee and I walked out of the Civil Affairs Bureau. Looking at the red book in my hand, I still felt a little confused. She suddenly said, Let's go. Are we going to meet the client now? Suwon Hee raised her hand to adjust her hair and laughed. What are you thinking about? Of course, it's a honeymoon. We changed into diving equipment and immersed ourselves in the blue water, feeling the mystery and beauty of the sea. Beautiful corals and schools of fish that can be touched by hand. Suwon, he gestured to me, indicating that I should dive to a certain place. Looking up, there is a starry sky under the sea. After landing, the staff told me that my phone kept ringing. I turned on my phone and dozens of messages popped up. Hello, Mr. Gu, I'm the manager of DK Suit Store. When do you have time to try on suits? Hello, Mr. Gu, I am the person in charge of wedding planning. What kind of flowers do you like? We can air freight them when the time comes. Hello, Mr. Gu. Lynn ordered a diamond drink from our store. When do you have time to try it on? If the size is not suitable, it can be adjusted. Suits, flowers, rings, the more I looked at them, the tighter my brows frowned. My mobile phone number was exposed. At this time, the phone rang again. I looked at the screen and saw a call reminder from Linja Achixia. She started with a questioning tone. Where have you been? I called you so many times, but you didn't answer. The company said you took a month off. What does it have to do with you where I go? Don't forget, we have broken up. Linza Achicia didn't care but laughed. Did you break up with me just because I had a wedding with Shu Yan? I will have one with you too. You should have received messages and calls. See what kind of suit and scene you like. I was speechless. Are you sick? Although I couldn't see her expression, I could imagine what Linza Achicia looked like when she heard me say this. Guyanchi, you want to break up with me because of the wedding. Now I agree to have another wedding with you. What else do you want? Haven't you had enough of the cold violence? I tell you, this is the only chance. If you don't want to get married, don't get married for the rest of your life. Linzai Ichisia is always like this. As long as she gives you a step, if you don't take it in time, it must be your fault. You've broken up, don't call me anymore. Marry whoever you want. Lindsay Ochicia said okay 3 times in a row on the other end of the phone. Go Yanxing, I gave you a chance. You rejected it yourself. Don't regret it. You're sick. Suwon, he changed her clothes and asked. Lindsay Ochicia's call. I took a breath. She thought I was angry because of a wedding, so she wanted to have one with me. How could I be so blind to fall in love with this woman? Suwon, he smiled and didn't answer. In the next month, we went to Iceland to see the mysterious blue ice cave and took a hot air balloon ride in Turkey. After returning to China, Gu Qing asked me out. I looked at the teeth marks that Suwon he had bitten on my neck last night and found a coat from the closet to put on. As soon as he sat down, he gushed out 2 glasses of wine and complained, I'm so pissed off. Lindsay Achixia is simply crazy. She booked all the electronic screens in the Capitol's buildings and asked first-line stars to record birthday wishes for that guy named Zhu Yan, which will be played on a loop for a month. Has she ever considered your feelings? I held the wine glass and said calmly, I'm married. Gu Cheng didn't believe it at first until he saw the marriage certificate. Suwan he, how did you win him over? Linza Aichisia is not comparable to her at all. I really want to see her expression when she finds out that you and Sue want he are married. He swept away his anger just now. We have to celebrate it properly. I'll treat you tonight. Gu Cheng didn't drink much and he felt dizzy after a few bottles of wine. I put down the wine glass and said, just stay here and I'll go out and order you a cup of sobering tea. I met Lindsay H. Izu in the corridor. She came over to me enthusiastically and said, brother-in-law, you're finally here. Sisters Aichisi and the others are in box 6. I responded coldly, Lindsay Aichisha and I have nothing to do with each other anymore. Just call me by my name in the future. Have fun. Lindsay H. Izu thought I was still angry and comforted me, saying, Sisters Iachisha did something too much in that matter. Just give her a chance to apologize in person. We are in box 6. I'll go first. Brother-in-law, you can come over in a while. To get back to box 3, I have to pass by box 6. Hearing a familiar voice, I stood at the door and looked through the gap in the door. Lenjai Achisia was leaning lazily on the sofa, and Zhu Yan was pouring wine diligently beside her. Lindsay H. Izu said to her, Sister Ziachisha, I just met my brother-in-law at the door, and I said he still can't let you go. I didn't expect that Mr. Gu could hold out for so long this time. The assistant immediately flattered her again and quickly replied, It's only been a month. He must have heard that Sisters Ia celebrated her birthday with another man and he couldn't bear it, so he came over. Linza Achisia's face was cold. Who asked him to come? We have broken up. That's enough. This is the first time Mr. Gu hasn't contacted you for so long. Be careful not to make a big fuss. Yeah, Sister Ziachishi, I think you should let this man go quickly. Otherwise, my brother-in-law will be angry again. Lin Zai glanced at the honest Xu Yan beside her. She lowered her head and said weakly, Mr. Lin, today is my birthday. I took off my coat and pushed the door in. Everyone's eyes looked over at the same time. The mark on my neck was obvious. Even in the dim light of the bar, Linja Achisia still saw it. She stood up quickly and squinted her eyes. What's on your neck? Thinking of how Sue, when he deliberately left marks on my body last night, I smiled and said word by word, hickeys. Lindsay Achisia picked up the wine glass on the table and smashed it on the ground. The anger in her eyes was obvious. Who did it? Gu Yanqing, you really went out to find a woman behind my back, right? What does it have to do with you who did it? Lindsay Aixixia, a qualified ex should be as dead as dead. She sneered. Gu Yanqing, if I contact you again in the future, I'll be a fucking dog. Gu Cheng drank the sobering tea and asked me, why did you go out for so long? I almost went out to find you. I replied, I went to deal with something. Otherwise, there will always be flies flying around me in the future, which is quite annoying. We both drank, so we called a designated driver. Not long after, the college boy who married Lin Zai Archisia graduated and entered the entertainment industry. After he achieved some success, he actually hired internet users to comment on the official account of Ji's group. Boss Lin treats brother Yan Ji differently and is willing to hold a wedding for him. I advise someone to part ways amicably and not too shamelessly occupy the title of Boss Lin's fiancée. The one who is not loved is the mistress. Will she die if she helps Boss Lin and brother Yanji? The assistant showed me the tablet. Bosco, should we delete all the comments that are misleading? I ordered, go check Xu Yan's black material for the paparazzi, and then notify the media companies that have cooperated with Xu. Don't. Okay, Mr. Gu, I'll do it right away. If Mr. Lin wants to intervene, don't worry about him. Just finish what I tell you to do. An hour later, Xu Yan's commentary was overwhelmed. You are mistress. It's okay to hide behind secretly, but how dare you provoke the original owner openly? Xu Yan and I are classmates. She looks very honest on the surface, but in fact, she took advantage of her family's wealth and took the lead in bullying me in school. I have many scars on my arms caused by her burns. I am Xu Yan's stand-in. She is in the crew except for the kind of shooting where she must show her face. The rest are all for me. I think the most hateful one is Lindsay Archisa. She changes boyfriends every day. This kind of woman should have died on the spot long ago. On the other side, in Lindsay Archisia's office, Sister Ziachisha, you didn't answer the call from your boyfriend. He's almost scolded to death by netizens. Mr. Gu is still the same character. Except for you, he will take revenge on everyone. Lin Zaachusia did not answer Ai Zhu's question. She asked, did Gu Yanxing call you these days? Saying this, everyone exchanged glances. No. You are deliberately making Yanji famous so that he can stimulate Gu Yanxing. Cheng, I think you made a wrong calculation. The matter with Xu Yan has been widely reported. Has Gu Yanxing called you? Sister Zarichisia, if you really want to be with Gu Yanxing, just give an uncall. There is nothing to lose. If someone else gets there first, then it's up to him. If he wants to break up, then break up. I don't need him as a boyfriend. In the evening, I received a message from Gu Cheng. By the way, I forgot to say that night. It is said in the circle that Suwon he likes women. This can't be true, right? I saw the message and wanted to laugh for some reason. Before I could reply, a dark color fell in my head. Do I like women? I raised my head and met Suwon-hee's puzzled eyes. I was speechless. Try it again tonight and see whether I like men or women. When I reacted, I had been hooked to the bed by Suwon-hee. I don't know if it was because of the alcohol, but I found that Suwon-hee was particularly beautiful today. When the desire reached its peak, she propped herself up and bit my shoulder. It was raining heavily outside the window, and there was a lot of ambiguity in the house. The mobile phone on the bedside table kept ringing tirelessly. After finishing once, Suwon-hee took the phone and took a look. It's from Lindsay Aichisia. Do you want to answer it? I shook my head. You answer it. He sticks to you like a dogskin plaster, and I feel uncomfortable. Then you answer it. I don't know if it was my illusion, but I actually read the meaning of success in her eyes. As soon as I answered the phone, Lindsay Aichisia's drunken voice came. Gu Yanxing, I'm drunk. Come pick me up. I've been so crazy these days. Why don't you come to take care of me? Suwon, he sneered. It's me. There was silence on the other end of the phone for a few seconds, and then I heard Lindsay Chisia gritted hurt. Ethan said, Suwon, you are shameless, and you are justified in being a mistress. We are a legal couple, but why did you call my husband in the middle of the night? Maybe she suddenly lowered her tone again. Yanxing, can you come pick me up? I took the phone. Lindsay Atricia, I have made it very clear to you, you are just my ex. Suwon, he hugged me with satisfaction and kissed me on the face. Without giving Lindsay Atricia a chance to speak, I hung up the phone directly. On the other side of the bar, Lindsay Atricia has been in the same position since she hung up the phone. The assistants and followers around her all advised her, I think, Mr. Gu is really not going to look back this time. In fact, you can't blame him. You have been playing too much in the past few years. It's okay to talk secretly, but you have to make a big noise every time. If I were Gu Yanqing, I would have given up on you a long time ago and would not have waited until now. Just break up. Anyway, you don't like Gu Yanqing. Then Zhao Hexia didn't say anything, picked up the car keys and left. The people behind chased her and shouted, "You've been drinking, you can't doctor. It's over, you can't see anyone. You probably went to find Gu Yanxing, and now Suwan he is here. Isn't it the rhythm of a fight? Gu Yanxing, I want to post on WeChat. Suwan he nestled in my arms, her fingertips stroking the red marks on my collarbone, and her eyes were red like a seductive fox. I nodded for some reason, watching her slender fingers quickly tap on the screen, work with a licensed Gu Yanqing with a picture of to read books and overlapping ring fingers. Just 1 minute after the message was sent, Gu Cheng's message popped up. Fuck, when did you two hook up? Before I could reply, there was a hurried banging on the door downstairs. Through the peephole, I saw Inzai Echicia curled up at the door, soaking wet. The rain dripped down her hair onto the pure white carpet, leaving dark marks. I slowly wrapped myself in a bath towel, took out the marriage certificate from the drawer and put it in my pocket. The moment I opened the door, cold rain mixed with wind poured in. Linja Aichisia looked up at me with water droplets still hanging on her eyelashes. Yanqing, I won't make trouble anymore. Let's make peace. Her voice was hoarse, and her fingertips trembled as she pulled my wrist, but she suddenly stopped when she saw the kiss mark on my neck. I leaned against the door frame and opened the marriage certificate in front of her. The gold-plated marriage certificate of the People's Republic of China made her pupils shrink suddenly. Zuan came up behind me wearing my white shirt, her fingertips gently hooked on the straps of my bath towel. Mister, the bathroom upstairs is ready. She glanced at Lin's eye Chusaya and raised a provocative smile at the corner of her lips. Lindsay Chusia's eyes were fixed on Sue when his legs exposed outside her shirt, and suddenly she screamed and rushed over. You are obviously my best friend. Why are you stealing my man? Suan he did not dodge or evade, letting her mess up her hair, but when Lim Jarchishia's nails scratched my chest, she suddenly grabbed her wrist, her voice as cold as ice. Her voice is cold as ice. What qualifications do you have to say that to me? How many men's names have you called in bed in the past 5 years? Do you need me to help you recall? Lindsay A. Chixia was struck by lightning, and her face turned pale. I pulled Sue on his hand, pressed her against the wall, and gently coaxed her. Don't be angry. I'll take you to pick out a pigeon egg diamond ring tomorrow. She snorted, put her arms around my neck and kissed the corner of my lips, and deliberately said in a coquettish voice with a whisper, it should be 10 times bigger than her engagement ring that year. Lindsay Chixia staggered back to steps and suddenly laughed, and the laughter became louder and louder until her eyes were red. Go Yanqing, do you think you can forget me after marrying Su Wanhee? When she stuffed the love letter in your school bag, why didn't she tell you that she actually? I interrupted her harshly, and Su Wanhee's body in my arms suddenly froze. But Linzai Ichisia seemed to have found a breakthrough and continued to shout like crazy. She liked you in high school and deliberately used love letters to test you, but you burned them in public and then designed me too. With a bang, I slammed the door. Suwan he stood in front of the French window with her back to me, her voice as light as a feather. What she said is all true. Back then, I deliberately asked the Ochixia to put the love letter in your school bag to see if you would be attracted to girls. When she turned around, tears were still hanging in the corners of her eyes. I know you hate the twists and turns in the circle, but I can't control myself. I walked over and pressed her into my arms, kissing away the tears from the corners of her eyes. I knew it a long time ago. She looked up suddenly. I chuckled and stroked her reader lobby with my fingertips. Why do you think I always? Smoking on the rooftop, because every time you hid at the stairs and peeked at me, you would rub one of the pearls on the school badge off on the steps. He was stunned and suddenly grasped the hem of my bath towel tightly. Then why did you marry me? Is it for the East District project or because I want to marry you? I lowered my head to block her lips and picked her up sideways at the moment she trembled. From the day when the succulents you raised for me in the laboratory for 3 months sprouted, I wanted to marry you. The rain outside the window was getting heavier, and the sound of Lindsay-eyed Shisia banging on the door gradually disappeared in the night. He panted in my arms, hooked her fingertips on the hair on the back of my neck, and suddenly chuckled. Gu Yanqing, do you think she will check the surveillance of that year? I bit her lobby and rubbed it gently. Even if she finds out what? Now you are my legitimate wife. Before I finished speaking, the phone on the bedside table suddenly vibrated. It was a video link sent by Gu Chen. I clicked on it casually, and in the picture, Linger Achishia was kneeling on the stone steps of Wulao's Han with disheveled hair, raising a cloud of dust every time she kowtowed. The comments at the bottom of the screen were densely packed. The belated love is cheaper than grass. When she cheated on Gu Yanqing and everyone in the city knew about it. Why didn't she think about today? He came over to look at the screen and suddenly pointed at the comments in the corner and laughed. Look at this. I suggest checking Lindsay Aichixia's account book. The flow of funds in the media company under her name is very interesting. I raised my eyebrows and looked at her, but she just curled up in my arms, drawing circles on my heart with her fingertips. Nothing, I just feel that. Some people should always pay the price for what they've done. I turned off the video and threw the phone aside. In the thunder outside the window, Wonhee's body temperature was incredibly hot. She grabbed my wrist in confusion. Her nails dug into my flesh, but she whispered in my ear in a voice that only we could hear, Yanqing sell Lin stocks tomorrow. I've prepared a big gift for you, just as a wedding gift. I lowered my head and kissed her lips that were slightly open due to her panting, and tasted the salty and astringent taste of tears on the tip of my tongue. 5 years ago in the laboratory, the girl holding the sprouting succulents finally came to my side. And some people should be like the fallen flowers beaten by the rain, disappearing forever in each other's lives. When the rain stopped, it was already daybreak. He was sleeping soundly with her head on my arm, and the sunlight shone on her face through the French windows, reflecting a soft golden color. I gently pulled out my arm that was numb from her pressure, turned on my phone and sent a message to my assistant. Notify the legal department and prepare to sue the Lin Group for commercial fraud. As soon as I sent it, I saw dozens of messages from Lin's Izu pop up. Brother-in-law, my sister fainted in Wulaji Han. She said that as long as you go to see her, she will tell you the truth of that year. I sneered and dragged Lin's Izu's number to the blacklist. The truth. It was no longer important when I caught her having an affair with a little star at the engagement party 5 years ago. He turned over and unconsciously grabbed my hand and put it on her cheek. I looked down at the silver ring on her ring finger. It was a birthday gift she gave me when she was 18 years old. I had worn off the engraving and melted it into 2 rings. At this moment, in the morning light, the abbreviations WGY came, the ring flashed with tiny light, just like the starlight reflected in her eyes in the laboratory that year. The phone vibrated again. It was a photo sent by Gu Cheng. In the photo, Linda Aichisia was carried on a stretcher by medical staff. She was still wearing the jade bracelet I gave her. It was a gift from my mother to her daughter-in-law. I forwarded the photo to Sue when he undated a sentence. It's time to throw away the old things. I'll go with you to pick new ones tomorrow. She quickly replied with a coquettish emoticon. I'm going to Paris to pick them, and I'm going to take your private plane. I smiled and shook my head and heard a rustling sound behind me. When I turned around, he had already put on my suit jacket. Her hair was messy like a bird's nest, but she insisted on standing on tiptoe to kiss the corner of my lips. Mr. Gu, is it time to go on a honeymoon today? I bent down and picked her up horizontally. She exclaimed and hooked her neck. The suit jacket slipped off to reveal our Argeria of snow-white skin. My Adam's apple rolled, and I lowered my head to bite her lips and said indistinctly, "Let's go to bed for an early honeymoon first." Her laughter mixed with panting broke into a colorful light in the morning light, and the world outside the window was quietly turning to a new page. This time no one will disturb our lives anymore,